great news regarding, we needed some good news after yesterday, we really did. So young Amy Lee de Jager, 6 years old, you remember that she was kidnapped outside of her school. A ransom was demanded and she has been found. No details. I think we need to get hold of Brigadier Vishnaidu. He'll hopefully give us a little bit more information about where she was found, was anybody arrested, what the story is. So that's all we have. We've just got a report from the police coming through to say that she has been found. She's with her family and is undergoing medical examinations at this point.
What a story it is.
You
know, when you think about it, you are suddenly thrust into, once again, this whole scenario where you don't know how quite to live, because this is a child that was literally snatched from her mother's hands as she was accompanying her into school. So it is absolutely horrific. Imagine what the mother was going through, and apparently they tried to snatch the little brother as well.
Really?
But then they managed to only get away with her. The younger brother was also there. But you know, there's so many questions still. You know, talking about the 2 million rand ransom that they demanded from the family. Little Amy's father is a teacher, high school teacher, and you just wonder, you know, they knew where he works because they contacted him at school. So it's like you just wonder, so many questions around this. But I think all's well that ends well.
Absolutely.
You know, one's just happy that she was found, and as you said, she is undergoing a medical examination at this point. So we hope unharmed.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the question of the day. And I think yesterday was a day in South Africa that.
What a day.
You know, it didn't matter in what direction you turned, where you were. It was just one of those days where you just thought, it's the world ending. It felt that way to
it certainly did.
It was awful.
It was crazy. It was mayhem, but it was almost surreal to think that all of these things were happening at once. You had, of course, the looting, and it just seemed to take on a life of its own, and it was just spreading like wildfire.
Spreading all over the place,
just spreading all over the place. And then you had the truck drivers and that situation going on. I saw an Unfiltered yesterday. The major players associations are saying they're not part of it, but then who is? And as we say that, I see we just got a message coming through saying the N3 is closed at the Mooi River Plaza, and that's due to burning trucks. That's right now as you and I are speaking.
Wow.
So this situation also continuing. We heard threats that what we're seeing on the screen right now with regard to the mayhem in Joburg and surrounding the Gauteng areas, that will continue, at least if what people are saying is anything to go by. It is absolutely crazy. I was in Pretoria yesterday afternoon, and my helper called in a frenzy. I was with our EP, Lumko Jimlonga, and she was on speaker, and she was absolutely frantic because she was in the CBD and it was just chaos. She was in tears because she didn't know what to do. And I said to her, go to the police station, and eventually that's where she went and found her way.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Yeah, yesterday nobody knew what was going on. I mean, I think as you, I mean, all of us were sharing similar stories. I was out in my area, and thank goodness nothing was happening there. But all of the workers that were getting ready to make their way home, they were petrified. And I just saw, you know, it was this vision that I won't forget in a very long time. I just saw all of the staff gathered around one single cell phone, listening to a news report and watching some of the visuals that were coming through and reports of what was going on and where they could go, and just this devastation on their faces, like, what do we do? Where do we go? Are we safe? And that's the reality. So we are going to continue to monitor the situation. We're going to talk to it. I mean, who we've got coming into studio a bit later is Brigadier Matapelo Peters, spokesperson for Gauteng Police on Violence. But the trucking industry, as we heard, is bad. What's happening in the south of Johannesburg? We've got Gillian Pillay, who's stationed
she was there yesterday. And the most...
She'll be there again today.
Again, amazing visuals during Gillian's coverage of what was happening there yesterday. As she was live on camera, this situation, that exact situation unfolded, the visuals that we showed you a little while ago, where she was there reporting to camera, and as she was going along, she says, well, you know, we're being told to move, it's becoming unsafe, they're threatening us, the police are telling us to move. And then, literally behind her, they broke into that particular shop that we had in visuals.
Wow.
and people just started looting right there and then. And it would seem as though the police were caught off guard. I agree with the commissioner, though, that this seems like pure criminality. Of course, it's always more complex at its very rudiments, but it's criminality at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But again, we were found wanting.
I don't know. All right, well, you know, we're going to continue to talk about this, as we say, throughout the morning, throughout the day, and monitor the situations. We are going to have reporters stationed at all of the hotspots around the country, and particularly here in Gauteng and Tshwane and all over. So do stay tuned for all of these reports. But let's move on to other stories that will be dominating today. And first up, that State Capture Commission will be listening to SABC CEO Madoda Mngakwe, as well as the head of news, Patiswa Magopeni, is going to also be there today. So that's something to watch out for.
Also, the trial of 8 men accused of multiple murders at the Glebelands hostel in Umlazi, south of Durban. That will continue in the Pietermaritzburg High Court today. Yesterday, the court granted the state permission to have 4 witnesses testify in camera, and some of the 4 are currently under witness protection program.
The funeral of Gavin Watson to take place in Port Elizabeth at Feather Market Centre. High-profile mourners from around the country are expected to attend.
Some news from our news diary. All right, let's take a look at the top trending topics, and here they are. Well, first up, hashtag SA shutdown, and we're asking you in our question of the day to reflect on the shutdown that happened yesterday. So it was the looting that was going on around the country, and Gauteng in the main yesterday, but you know, it seems to be spreading. And then you also had the situation with the girls. Girls who were found raped, killed. That was absolutely devastating. 2 incidents yesterday of that coming through. And then there was also that story of the doctor in Port Elizabeth who was shot by her husband. Absolutely devastating story. And yeah, all of these things happening at once. So we actually want to hear your views on that, but that total shutdown continuing. Also the truck situation that is going on.
All right, so the other trending topics that we have for you this morning, let's just put those up on the screen. Am I next? And it's a fear. It's a fear that I think a lot of people have, and particularly when it comes to the abuse against women in this country. And, you know, is that your profile? Is that perhaps your shadow? Are you the next one that is going to be raped, abused, hit, murdered today? And that's the question that I think needs to be asked. But we ask the question, but what are we doing about it? And I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of talking about it, because it's something that we've been speaking about for years on years on years, and it happens every single day. And I mean, I'm just reading a tweet here by Karen Morn saying 3,915 women and children were murdered last year. That's an average of 10 women and children murdered every single day of 2018. Every single day. Hashtag am I.
But that comes back to what you were saying. You know, last year it was Karabo Mokoena. And before that you had Anine Boysen. And as you say, every year there's someone different, there's a different face, but it's the same issue over and over again. So it's a fair question. Am I next? Because what would immunize you or I or anyone else from being the next victim?
All right, so that's that one. And then finally, the one we have got for you is the last topic. Okay. Pearl Tuzi. And let me just try and get to this one.
You were reading the Pearl Tuzi thread.
Well, I saw the tweet this morning. Here we go. So, I don't know, people having a lot to say about this. Apparently, Paul Tuzi put up a tweet out yesterday, and it was during all of these, the things that we've been talking about. And so she put a tweet out saying, I really miss my Amber Sunrise P30 Pro, even though I only had it for 24 hours. Together with Huawei, I have decided to put together an amazing reward for whoever helps me find my smartphone. Help me find hashtag Pearl's Amber Sunrise Huawei 30 Pro at Huawei. Anyway, so this is, this turned into a major talking point for a lot of people saying, are you serious? You're bringing this up now, just trying to find advertising, trying to find attention.
With everything else that's going on in the country.
I don't know. You can read into it. We don't know what she was thinking at the time of the tweet. So I know that's, I suppose, the big trending topic as well. Everyone talking to whether they found that offensive or not. I'm not too sure.
Right. That's a wrap for our regular features here in the morning.